Assalamualaikum. We are from MBA 1193A. This video presentation is about inflation and high employment in Indonesia. Before start, I am Natasha Alia binti Anwar. We intro our group member. First, Nur Ashiki binti Slamet. Second, Nur Akila binti Muhammad Faizal. The last one is Siti Aisyah binti Samsudin.
Assalamualaikum. Me as the first presenter will present about introduction which background of Indonesia. Indonesia has played a modest role in the world economy since the mid-20th century and its importance has been considerably less than its size, resources and geographic position. The country is a major exporter of crude petroleum and natural gas. In addition, Indonesia is one of the world's main suppliers of rubber, coffee, cocoa and palm oil. It also produces a wide range of other commodities such as sugar, tea, tobacco, copra and spices. Although Indonesia has remained a major importer of manufactured goods, high technology and technical skills, the country's economic base has shifted from the primary sector to secondary and tertiary industries, manufacturing, trade and services. Manufacturing surpassed agriculture in terms of contribution to gross domestic product in the early 1990s and has continued to be the largest single component of the country's economy. Next, I will present about population trends in Indonesia. Indonesia, with a current population of 241 million persons, is an important example for illustrating assessment of high priority policy areas in the area of demography and population. Indonesia is the fourth most populous country in the world. It is the 8th country in terms of adding most people to the global population by 2050, the fourth outside of Africa, adding a total of more than 66 million. Much of this future growth will be concentrated in urban areas, the infrastructure and social services of which are already struggling due to rapid urbanization. As many other countries in the region, the next decades will bring about a transformation of Indonesia's population with important implications for human and economic development. And the last one is the main industry in Indonesia. Indonesia has a market-based economy in which the government plays a significant role, including administering prices for some basic goods such as food, rice, and electricity. Significant foreign direct investment and government incentive have positioned the industry for future growth. Major industrial sectors include petroleum and natural gas, textile and apparel, rubber and chemical fertilizers. Agriculture, on the other hand, only accounted for 14%. Indonesia's main trading partners are Japan, China, Singapore, and South Korea. Next, I will pass to the next presenter, Natasha.
Background of inflation and employment. Inflation, rising prices in the economy are a sign of inflation. The increase in the average price level of a basket of chosen goods and services over time in an economy can provide a quantitative improvement of the rate at which the reduction in buyer power happens. Therefore, a strategy that addresses inflation also addresses price stabilization. The inflation phenomenon in Indonesia is not a short phenomenon that only happens easily. Other countries have seen the experience of inflation. The inflation problem in Indonesia is a kind of long-term inflation caused by structural economy that still controlled in Indonesia. Unemployment is where people are jobless and actively looking for work. Indonesia has a rapidly growing labor force, although most of its workers has only completed elementary school. This situation arose due to rapid population increase and insufficient social and human resource development in recent decades. Types of inflation. Money supply. After acceleration with the government deficient and the government need money to finance development. General philosophers say that the gap between government revenue and the expenditure is actually funded by prerogative of printer money. The trade between money deficient and supply because policy is diverse and leads by 3 points: stabilization device, tax motive and integration with distribution of employment. Types of employment. First, temporary employment is caused by restriction of time, information, and statistics between job seekers and to who start job application. These people without job are not employment because they can find work, but because they want a better job. Second, seasonal employment. Employment that only also during particular time of the year. The agriculture and fishery sector see the higher heights of the form of employment. typically happen when agricultural activity is declined. Causes of inflation is, in 2030, the inflation rate increased as the gas price went up by 44% to RDR 6,500 per litre, whereas diesel is paid by 22% to RDR 5,500 per litre. This move triggered public clamor and was also warily timed, but 1 year before the discussed recession. However, in 2040, the rapid rise in global crude oil price, combined the government set subsidy on gas, had quit the subsidy treasury in which Indonesia customer will subsidy the government because the subsidy right now higher than the full actual market value. This very high annual inflation rate can put a portion of the population that lives just above the poverty line into full block poverty. And then the inflation rate for 2016 was 3.53%, a 2.4% decline from 2014. In 2020, Indonesia inflation rate fell to the lowest level from 3.3% to 2.0% as the COVID-19 pandemic ravaged people purchasing power. The higher employment rate of young in also a factor in employment in Indonesia. This was higher for the adult not just because they were less employed, but also because of the continuous flow of school leaving and college graduates. Because the government included junior and secondary school leaving, the open employment was higher, purchased in the rate of 50 until 19 and 20 until 34 at group. Usually, the world is fueled by a virus known as COVID-19, which affects the economy of every nation. Indonesia's employment rate has definitely surged to its highest level due to it. The pandemic caused 2.67 million people to be laid off in their jobs. This made the country's employment rate increase up to 7.07% in August, with a total 9.77 million people employment. Impact of inflation. Inflation in Indonesia severely impact the poor section of the population. Product inflation price higher the poor people to purchase products that they need. Thus, the government was considered to indirect household projects. Additionally, inflation in Indonesia produces economic costs the country borrowing costs inconsistent to its market price. This made the country monetary policy credibility low. It mainly caused a largest decrease for yearly inflation estimate of Bank Indonesia. As food price are mainly affected by inflation, it is not by the people of in country. It is mostly inspired and eroded to the poor household that lie below the poverty line. The rise in food costs may also lead to an increase in the poverty rate, will affect the government economy.
Monetary policy include adjusting the rate of interest, influencing the supply of capital. It is calculated by the central bank. They have inflation target. Next, they also have a side effect on the exchange rate and the demand for housing. Monetary policy instruments such as the use of open market operation, the reduction of ratio required, the reduction of the base lending rate or bank rate or discount rate, and the reduction of the interest rate. Monetary production, consumption and expenditure will be decreased. Bank Indonesia BI vote to lift the 7-day reserve required rate at a multi-year low of 4.00% at the 12 until 30 October 2020 Monetary Policy Meeting. The discussion of the very accepted the third solution goal and were widely anticipated through market research. In addition, BI is the deposit of facility and lending facility rate at 3.2% and 4.75% respectively, and refocus on rising liquidity, including by funding the physical defense of the government. In order to influence aggregate demand in the economy, physical policy enter the government adjusting the rate and level of government expenditure. Change in the spending and the tax rate is
in the tax rate in the government fiscal policy. The government set it up. They do not have particular goal. They also have a side effect on the government or borrowing budget. Fiscal policy instruments such as increased government spending and reducing tax. Indonesia government announced that it started spending on COVID-19 outbreak control for 2020 started budget as of November 2020 is 744.28 trillion rupiah, originally purposed 405.1 trillion rupiah on March 2020. Physical defining dropped to 3.49% in Q3. The physical defining is the forecast to hit 1.6% in Q4. The resolution of the defining policy of the started budget above 3% or GDP. Beginning in 2023, the Indonesian government planned to implement a physical discipline of less than 3% of the defending.
Assalamualaikum, I am Siti Aisyah and I will explain about the conclusion. To sum up everything that has been stated, we can draw the conclusion that the relationship between unemployment and inflation is one that is actually possible in the current environment. Both unemployment and inflation are crucial macroeconomic tools. Looking ahead at the economy rate of inflation and the national natural unemployment rate is crucial to understanding any nation economic status. There has been economic growth in every nation we have studied tools for because there is a low level of unemployment in the workforce. As a result, that the relationship between unemployment and inflation is real. Indonesia growth momentum in 2021 carried into early 2022 with the economy growing at 5% in the first quarter years-on-years. According to the report, financial deepening for stronger growth and sustainable recovery. The pickup in domestic demand since the end of the year provided relief to the private sector, especially medium, small and micro enterprise that suffered disproportionately during the pandemic. The domestic recovery also enabled some fiscal consolidation, while monetary policy has remained appropriately accommodative. This has enabled a pickup in bank lending in support of the recovery. However, the Russian invasion of Ukraine has compounded pandemic-related challenges. Commodity price has risen sharply and are expected to remain high in 2022 until 2023. While Indonesia has benefited in the short term from a windfall in commodity earnings, prices have started to rise and foreign financing has become tighter. This has intensive policy challenges associated with rising energy subsidies and created headwinds for monetary policy. The proposed green areas of reform to strengthen Indonesia's financial sector. The first would increase the demand and supplies of finance by expanding access to and usage of financial service, broadening and improving the quality of financial market products, and mobilizing long-term saving. The second will improve the allocation of resources by promoting competition in the banking sector, strengthening the insolvency framework, and enhancing consumer protection. The third would strengthen the capacity of the financial system to withstand shock by improving the effectiveness of financial sector oversight, strengthening the crisis preparedness and resolution framework, and promoting climate and natural disaster related risk management. I think that's all from me. Thank you for listening.